Hello, Matt Thompson with you here on AFL.com.au, continuing our 2013 Footy Focus series. Today, it is all about non-negotiables, the area that a team has to improve on or else there's real trouble ahead. Joining me once again for our Footy Focus preview is Garry Lyon. You're going to lay it on the line today, Gary?
We're going to do our best, Matty. We're going to make a few statements here. They may come back to haunt us, but we'll have a go at it.
Let's begin with North Melbourne. Must win a final, you say?
Yeah, I think that's the benchmark for that footy club this year. I mean, they had issues about beating sides above them. They were getting belted there for a while. They dealt with that. They were able to take some scalps down during the course of the year. Their challenge now, on the back of a disappointing finals loss over in Perth, is to get into the finals again, which is what they have to, but then to win one and go a little bit deeper. So that's what they've got on the agenda. What
does Essendon have to do in 2013, and this is a really difficult question considering everything that's happened, but their fade out last year in the second half of the season was extraordinary.
Yeah, we could say just get on the park, but let's let that sort itself out. Win more games in the back half than the front half. I think that's the issue for James Hird. I mean, they've started season so very well and then fallen away so horribly that this time, I mean, last year, towards the end of the year, they were just unrecognisable to the way they started. So I think consistency over the course of 23 weeks for the Bombers.
Now, I'm not the expert here, guys, you are, but I do have one piece of advice for the Bombers. No cans of Coke in the coach's box. This has got to be one of the clips.
Matty, you didn't tell me introducing humour into this segment. This is cutting-edge footy stuff.
Sorry, we had to play that again. James Hird's reaction's just priceless.
Now, if you're going to take over editorial control of this stuff, then I need to know about it. That's footy show stuff from you.
Sorry for throwing that in there, guys. Let's take a look at the Hawks.
Well, they'd like to beat Geelong. I think that'd be a start. Beat the curse, the Kennett curse. To beat the Cats would be pretty important. I don't think it's an absolute thing that weighs on their mind, but I mean, when they get into a winning position, I mean, they're in front when the siren sounded last year, only have it to sort of stripped away from you again. And if it got to September, then it'd become an issue for them.
Do they have to win the grand final, do you think, the Hawks?
Oh, look, I think winning grand finals are so extraordinarily hard. Getting there again is a non-negotiable. To get into a grand final and have another crack at it, anything can happen on the day, but they would be expecting to be playing on the last weekend this September.
Last year was a year of distraction for Collingwood, centred around the Travis Cloke speculation. Now we've got the speculation about Dale Thomas, and add to the distraction Dane Swan.
Well, they'd like to get Dale Thomas locked away. I think that'd be probably an important thing. I mean, such a big club, Collingwood, that anything that happens tends to be magnified 100-fold. So to lock away Dale Thomas, keep Swanee in the straight and narrow, keep him out playing footy on the weekends and to a high quality, it'd be appreciated from their point of view.
Did they cause a distraction themselves with that Footy Show interview and Dane Swan?
I'm a little biased, of course, having been involved, but look,
I mean, they could have just gone to air and it would have been move on. But instead they decided to fight him.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, footy, you're in the business. Footy protocol demands certain things. We love hearing from the AFL players. I think Swanee will continue to play at a high level.
Let's head out west now. The Fremantle Dockers. Up forward, an issue for them?
Yeah, it is. And Matty Pavlic's not going to be there forever. I picked this kid out, Hayden Crozier. I just like him. I like the way he's got an appetite for footy. He takes an unbelievable mark, probably having to temper that because of his size. Got some tricks, and I just think they need to find another 35. They got Maine, of course, but a 35 to 40 goal a year. And that's asking a lot of a young man that only played 3 games last year. But I think Hayden Crozier might be someone to keep an eye on. The
Saints finished outside the 8 last season. A lot of people are saying that they're going to slide further down the ladder. What's your read?
I think they'll be around the mark. But look, the non-negotiable for them is to have someone to win their best and fairest outside of these nut blokes. Revolt turning 31, Hayes turning 33, Milne turning 33, Del Santo turning 29 and Fisher turns 31. So we love them, but they'd love to have 2 or 3 players in their top 3 or 4 win the best and fairest outside of that group.
Let's talk about Richmond now. The hype, the expectation of the Tigers supporters.
Yeah, look, it's a massive club, Richmond, and I love the fact that their supporters are so passionate about it, and their expectations are justified, but it's dealing with that expectation internally, I think, which is what Richmond struggled with over the journey. They've got themselves into a position to play finals, last year especially, and weren't able to come up with it. So I think dealing with that and then going out and actually doing it is the non-negotiable for the Richmond Footy Club.
And what about Damien Hardwick putting it on the line there?
I liked it. I don't mind it at all.
It's okay for the fans, but...
Yeah, no, well, who wouldn't... The fans' expectations, Matty, sometimes are unrealistic because they're not at the coalface. Who would know better than the man that's driving this footy club about the expectation for his group? He expects them to play finals and was prepared to say it. I didn't mind it.
Just back on St Kilda for a second, one thing that I forgot to mention, Sam Fisher. You have a point to make about him.
Well, I think he's had a pretty good run. Not because I don't blame him for it, but as a freewheeling halfback for probably 3, 4 or 5 years, I think he's had a great run. And I think probably is the time now to take some responsibility and maybe let a Sipos take that role as the freewheeler and he be the lockdown forward. I know he would say, I play on big forwards all the time. Well, he does, but I mean, I've watched him a lot. I've watched a lot of footy. More often than not, he's been given licence. Now it's time to take that responsibility.
All right, now to a place that we all love to go and visit, the Gold Coast. Have you been up there to cover a game? It is a lot of fun just heading up to the Gold Coast.
No, not often. Not often.
No, but it's a good place.
I know why you go up.
It's a good place to go. But what do they have to? I mean, their president's put on the line, hasn't he? Saying they're going to win a flag within 3 years.
Yes, just relax. But I would say their non-negotiable is to finish ahead of the GWS.
That'd be a good start.
Well, they've got 12-month head start on that footy club. We probably judge them side by side, not with anyone else because of their long list of young players. But I think that's their goal. Finish ahead of the GWS would be a really good start.
What else?
Well, it's time for one of their big forwards. They've had the pick of the competition in terms of the best young talent coming through. Sam Day, one of the more talented young kids I've ever come across. He needs to step up. Or Charlie Dixon. They've got a few of them, and this is the point. Charlie Dixon's 200 centimetres. He's got some ability as well. We've seen glimpses, and I know they take some time. This is Stephen May, who's a little bit older. These big key forwards take time, Matty, to develop. Well, one of these blokes has got to show some signs by the end of this year that they are going to be an elite key forward. Because if you're going to be successful, Tom Lynch is the other one. If you're going to be successful, you need a big key forward that is approaching elite category. They've got 4 of them. One of them's got to separate themselves from the pack.
And just finally, the West Coast Eagles.
Well, the West Coast Eagles are going to make the grand final. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Will they?
I've tipped them to win the flag, so they've got to, if they're going to win it, they've got to make it, Matty.
Indeed, indeed. And that actually leads into our next show where you're going to go from 1 to 18 and take us through the whole ladder.
I've shot me best shot already.
How are you going to go with that?
No, not a problem.
All right. Garry Lyon to join us then when he puts his reputation on the line. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.